Hey everyone. Well, we hiked in yesterday, and yesterday was the opener of General Mule Deer, one of the seasons here in Idaho. And so we hiked about 6.25 miles into a spot. I didn't really get any video of it. It was super wet and rainy, and I don't really have any waterproof equipment, so didn't get any video of that. Set camp up last night, and then woke up this morning and the system's still pushing through, so it's been real foggy. Got a little bit of snow on the ground. I'll show you guys. A little bit of snow. It's about 11:30, and we're just kind of waiting for this system to push through. Should be through today, so hopefully it'll get through this afternoon and we can start doing some glassing in this basin. We have a basin on this side that we can glass, and it kind of swings around. This is a nice rock point, and then it comes around and continues on. And it continues on up this drainage for probably about 2.5, 3 miles. So a lot of country. It's big country. It's gonna be a lot of footwork to get anything out of here, but it's kind of how I like it. Makes it the challenge a little bit more. So as soon as we can start hunting, we'll check back in with you. Well, one thing that's always for certain is you never can tell what the mountains will do. About 10 minutes ago, this was all fogged in on glass hole, and looks like this is finally starting to push through. So hopefully we'll be able to get out, do some glassing here pretty quick. It's still pretty windy though. Yeah, definitely got some great country in front of us. Now you can see what that basin actually does. It goes up quite a ways. It's got some good timber in it. Definitely some good country for one to hang out in. We'll just see if we can pick one up. It's still October, so the bigger bucks are going to be harder to find. I don't know that I'm necessarily in it for a bigger buck. If you get an opportunity at a meat buck, we'll take that too. So yeah. We'll put this thing back on once we actually get in. Well, day one did not pan out like we wanted it to, and looking at a revised forecast for the area, winds are just going to stay super strong. So we're going to make our way out to 6.25 miles roughly, and there's another spot I'm going to go to, a little lower in elevation. This area sits at about 7,500 feet. The spot we're going to go hit sits about 5,000 feet in elevation. So we'll make this trek out, and then probably head into the new area first thing in the morning and see what we can scrape up from there. All right, off for the hike. Day number 2, Idaho mule deer. So we hiked out yesterday from the higher elevation that we were at. We were at around 7,500, 8,000 feet. Super windy when we hiked out, and it started snowing again on us. It just snowed on and off all day, kept us fogged in. So I was willing to wait the snow and fog out. However, just looking at an updated forecast for that area, it was just going to stay pretty windy at that higher elevation. Winds yesterday were gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour, a little bit higher than I want to hunt in. Even if I did spot something, like just with that winds, I don't really feel comfortable shooting too far in those. So decided to hike out. I had a second area kind of picked out. I hadn't really ground truthed it or scouted it. So we hiked in today midday. It's probably about 11 o'clock when we started our hike in, and just kind of hiked around a little bit, just kind of getting a feel for the country. And as you can see, the weather is far better today. It's not nearly as windy. So kind of found a glass and knob here, and we're just overlooking a really big basin, a lot of country to glass, and honestly, we could glass something up that'd probably be way out of our reach to get today, but at least we'll kind of get to see what's in here. It's sparse timber, few pockets of heavier timber, and then a lot of open country. We started glassing around noon once we got up here, just picking shadows apart and picking the timber apart, just maybe hoping we could pick something up in the bed, but it didn't really work out for me. So we're getting about 5 o'clock now, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and kind of getting to that witching hour. Hopefully the shadows are getting a little bit longer here, so hopefully we'll see something coming out of its bed and working out into the open, and nothing else, just be able to see what's in this country and what this country has to offer. I have a third spot picked out, but this actually looks a lot better than what it did just e-scout. So I'm really happy with the area. Definitely probably going to spend a few days in here and see if we can't locate something. But yep, so little evening glass, and kind of my favorite time. Alright folks, so we're headed back into that country that we were sitting on the other day, and just kind of looking to see what was in it. Seen a 3x3 up top that evening, but he was pretty far above us and couldn't really get into an area to make a play on him. So we're headed back in here this time, a little further behind from where he was at. It's going to be probably about a 6-mile hike to where I want to camp and glass at. Trail most of the way, so not too bad. I think it's overall on 6 miles we'll gain about 2,100 feet in elevation. So the good thing about that is, one, most deer I've seen have been up high.
Haven't really seen any deer down low. I just think from the pressure, it keeps them up on those tops. Also, it's been pretty warm, so I think they're just kind of staying more in like a summer pattern. Temps have been in the 70s, even some a little bit in the 80s. We're supposed to see it cool down the end of this week. And then, second good thing about that is if we are able to connect and actually get something, then, well, it's all downhill packing. So it won't have to go up, which is pretty good. I kind of like those pack outs. And it's not a steep downhill, so, it's just kind of gradual. So, yeah. We'll hike this trail in and get set up in our spot. Going in, probably about a 3 to 4 day hunt. So, yep, got it all on our back. And get up there and get set up, do some evening glassing and see what we don't come up with. So, if you guys are wondering what I take with me on like a 3 to 4 day hunt like this, with food and everything, my pack weighs probably, I didn't weigh it, but I'd say it weighs about 55 pounds, 55 pounds. So just because we're going up top, I'll pack a little over 3 liters of water up there with me. And I have food enough for 5 days, just in case we do connect and end up having to spend an extra day. As far as food goes, I always plan a day more than what I plan to stay, just because I don't want to be in a situation of the last evening having an opportunity and passing on it just because I don't have enough supplies to stay out there that night. So on a 4 day hunt like this, I pack 5 days worth of food. Pretty minimal clothing. As far as clothing goes, I have a sweatshirt and a puffy just in case it does turn cold. This season is kind of notorious for, it has 4 distinct seasons. And sometimes that can all happen in one day. So I've definitely had days here where it started in the 80s and it was snowing on you by the end of the night, or the end of the evening. So it does happen. I just prepare for that. There is a little bit of weather forecasted as far as about 50% chance of rain. So with that, I run First Light, the seat, rain gear, and I just brought the top, just the jacket. If it was going to be snow or like just consistent rain the whole time, then I would definitely bring the pants up too, but just an effort to cut weight. Just left them behind. Hopefully I don't regret that decision. So, and then as far as like the shelter goes, I just use a floorless trekking pole style shelter. It's by Seek Outdoors. And actually this is the first year I've run it. I just got it this year. I used to run an Alpine, just single person tent. It's definitely not the lightest tent in the world, especially when you're talking about backpacking, So I went with that Seek shelter this year and I've used it a couple times. So far I'm super happy with it. I guess my only complaint at first would have been the stakes that come with it. They're pretty lightweight and this is real rocky country, so they just didn't hold up very well to getting pounded in the ground. I think if you had softer soil they'd be fine, but so I went a little heavier steak on it, but everything else about it I really enjoy. So, yeah. And then, you know, incidentals like have a kill kit, game bags, sleeping bag with the dry sack, stuff sack, and then the trekking poles, and then various odds and ends like you know, power bank, solar charged power bank, headlamps. I have a hand light. Also, the nice thing about the hand light that I carry is if I did get myself into a mess, it acts as a strobe. You can signal aircraft with it, and I use it in my day job and for signaling aircraft, and works very well. I've had helicopters pick me up at 3+ miles away with that, and just immediately they're on you. So it does dual purposes, that should I need it. You know, the hope is to never need it, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So it's kind of my philosophy on that. Yeah, and then I run a mystery ranch pack. I've run this for about 6 years now, and really happy with it. It's packed a lot of meat, packed a lot of loads, but yep. And then, like I said, my main meals are Mountain House, backpacker pantry type freeze-dried meals. I have some soups that are done myself, and then just snacks, typical snacks. Yeah. So, spotting scope. I run a razor, Vortex razor. That's the smaller one, and then I run a pair of Viper 12x50 binos, tripod, all that kind of stuff. Yep. So if you're just kind of wondering what the gear that I carry is, that's the quick rundown of the list anyway.
Well, folks, we made it into our spot last night. I didn't really get any video of it. By the time we got in here, it's pretty dark, and so we set camp up. I had just maybe about 10-15 minutes. I could do a little bit of glass and see just a little bit. Didn't really see any deer last night, so we got the tent set up. It's pretty windy, and had dinner out of a bag, and then throughout the night it was pretty. Had a little bit of weather last night, rain, a lot of wind, and got it all cleared out overnight. I think it really kept the deer hunkered in. We got up this morning and did some glassing. Picked up a few deer, just a bunch of does, I think about 3 groups of does. And then here, probably half mile from me, quarter mile from me, had some hunters shoot a deer, or it looked like they shot a deer. They were shooting at something, and but it's on the backside of the basin that I'm hunting, so they weren't actually in the basin that I am. I could just see them on a knob over there. So, and then didn't really see any bucks this morning. Super early, just a bunch of does, and then been sitting here drinking coffee. Spotted some elk probably a couple miles away, and that grabbed my interest. Elk always grab my interest, but so I glassed them for a while, and then I was glassing this face just over here on this side of me, and it's still got a lot of sun, or shade, and seen a deer by itself, just moving up through a little thicket, regen aspen patch, and looks like it's got headgear on it. It's not real big, but I think through the day today, it bedded up. So I think throughout the day we're gonna try to go down through this drainage. There's a spur ridge right in front of him. I can work up that, and should be roughly about 250 yards from him. I don't where he's bedded at. I don't think he's going to move much today. Might chase the shadow around this bush he's under. It does get sun in that little pocket, but I think for the most part he should pretty much stay put. So yeah, we'll get down there, go down this drainage into the bottom of the basin, and just work back up that other side. I think we should be pretty good there. Probably take me, it's not very far, it's about a mile, but I gotta go down about 600 feet, come up about another 600 feet to get to him. So a little bit of elevation loss and gain. Probably take me about 3 or 4 hours, just for the fact I'll take it slow. Winds are set up real good right now, and then as it heats up throughout the day, it should be up drainage winds. So where that spur ridge is, it's in a different drainage, and the wind should come up this main drain and carry it up that spur drainage and away from him. So I think the winds are in our favor. I think most things are in our favor. So we'll get packed up here and start heading down, and hopefully once we get over there we'll be able to get this whole thing on video. Alright folks, so took me about 15 minutes to get everything broke down and back in the pack, and we're gonna start making our way over here, start this play on this deer. Like I said, where he's bedded up, I think it's a good spot. He should have shade most of the day, so I don't think he's really going to move for a while. I might readjust around the bush he's on for shade, but I think that's about all he'll do. And then, like I said, the track I'm going to take to get over there, it's about a mile, and then dropping the elevation and regaining that elevation. But it's 11:30, so I think we got plenty of time to do it, and hopefully we'll get over there on that ridge, and he'll either be presenting me with a good bedded shot, or we'll just wait for him to stand up for the evening or whatever. But yeah, so as you can see, what we're gonna take this ridge all the way down like that, drop into that bottom right there, come up this, and I want to be on this ridge right here. He's bedded right up in there, so a little bit of distance to cover, but that's kind of what it is when you hunt big country. It's rarely are they ever right on top of you. So but that for me is part of the fun. It's a challenge to get to them, and then we're 7 miles back in here, so it's a challenge to get them out too, but it's all part of the hunt. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. I'm not very good at self-filming, so hopefully we can get this all captured on camera for you guys. Alright, well, and so the hike begins.
right, made it to the drainage bottom. Just came down that ridge right there and came through this thick stand here. Now we get to go up that to that rock you see way up there at the top. So it took us about 20-30 minutes to get down here. Just taking it real slow. And you see I'm sweating a little bit. It's probably about 60 degrees out right now, and I have my whole pack with me. I think I get separation anxiety when I drop my pack. I just don't do it very often. I've had instances where I've dropped my pack before and go to chase an animal that was maybe 300 yards away, and I only needed to close like 50 yards, and next thing I know I'm like 2 miles away from my pack. So it's not something I do. I know a lot of people do it, you know, and to each their own. It's just not something I like to do. I feel like in the end it causes more work. So yeah, I got my full kit with me, and then we're just going to take it slow going up this. Probably took us 30 minutes to get down that slope. Behind me, it'll probably take me an hour to get up this one. Maybe a little more. I'll just take it slow. It's almost 11:45, noonish. So definitely have some time. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. He's like in the one shade pocket he can get in on that slope. So to find more shade, he'd have to completely relocate. And where he's bedded, I think he can just chase shade around some bushes all day. So, and he's pretty tucked in there. Like, if I hadn't seen him walk in there, just the distance that he is, I don't think I would have ever noticed, because right now all he's got's a little head sticking out underneath a bush, and you know, from a mile away, that's pretty tough to spot. Not saying it can't be done. The other thing I have going against me is my tripod. I've had it for 6 years now, and the screw that tightens the plate up and just locks everything down real tight, it stripped out on me the other day. So I have a new one on order, but it's not here yet, and so we're just kind of making do with what we got. The locking pin still works, but it just, things are a little wobbly on it, so getting steady isn't, it's pretty tough to do right now. So, but yeah, so when we get up to the top here, we should be within 250-300 yards, depending on where I pop out on that spur ridge across from him. Completely within range. You know, I shoot anything from really 400 and down. I don't like to do 400. I like to keep it right in under that 350 mark. So I think we should be meeting that criteria once we get up there. But yeah, so we'll take it slow going up this slope and hopefully find him. Hopefully we'll be in the same spot once we get up top. Alright, well, right now it's just better under that bush. Not really intent on doing much. He's got really good shade. Wind's in our favor. So I've got the rifle set up, got everything set up, kind of just waiting for him to, stand up, move. He's got some brush covered in his vitals right now, so I don't want to take that shot. He's at like 240, 237 yards, so well within range. Definitely under that 350 yard mark that I like. And yeah, so we're just gonna wait for the sun to do its thing. I'm gonna sit here and be patient and wait for him to stand up. He's not in any hurry. He doesn't know we're here. So got this rock that I'm kind of tucked in next to, staying in the shade. I don't want to set any glass up in the sun right now. Just the angle of the sun, I'm afraid it might flash him, and that could have some detrimental effects. He wouldn't like that too well, probably. So myself, and this is one of the first times I've ever done it, is to try to get the shot on camera. I don't know how well that's going to work, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Hopefully we can get that done. I have to be honest, this is the hardest part for me. We've been sitting here now for probably about half an hour waiting on him. The patience game is really the hardest. I don't think the hiking is the hardest or anything. You know, it's just being patient, waiting for the right opportunity. You know, we did all the work to get into this spot. You know, as far as hiking in late yesterday, camping last night, and then spotting this morning, making our play and getting up here to this spot, making sure the wind was right. But the true hardest thing for me is to sit here, be patient, wait for that right opportunity, you know. And I think that's a learned thing. As a younger hunter, I know I wasn't always that patient. I struggled with that a lot. I still struggle with it, but you know, if I wasn't patient, then I stand a high chance of blowing all that work that we did to get here. So, yeah, I guess we're just gonna wait him out. Play the patience game. The hardest part of hunting, in my opinion. All right, folks, mule deer hunt done. We got one in the freezer. Perfect. So he got up, readjusted. We sat here. It's 3:14 now, so I've sat here for a couple hours. He finally got up, readjusted, just enough, laid back down. Didn't stay on his feet long enough for me to actually get set up and get a shot. But the way he was laying, you know, it was pretty good. Had full view of his vitals, and I feel like if you can stock in on a bedded animal, then by all means take the shot. So took the shot. It was 233 yards, and the only thing that happened was his head went over. I'm sure you've seen that in the video. Never got up, and so now he's laid over there in his bed, and we're gonna go hike over there. So we'll end up going down this ridge, across there, and then right along that ridge, and he is right underneath that bush right there. So yeah, we'll go over there, start getting him field dressed. 4 hours left of daylight, and off the back side of that ridge is just like a really beat-in cow trail that we could use. We went out it the other day, and yeah, it was a good trail. So it's about, I'd say 6-7 miles back to the truck. I'll get one load out tonight. Partial load plus the gear, truck camp at the truck, and come up with an empty pack tomorrow and grab the rest of it. Get them back out. Should be able to accomplish that by noon. Yep, so we're gonna make our way over and show you what he looks like once we get there. Alright folks, well, we made it over here. Maybe 15 minutes. It's not that far.
Like I said, he dropped right where I shot him. He was bedded right here on a super big deer. But pack out wise, that's always an excellent, be able to gear in him. I'll be able to do in 2 trips. Like I said, it's about 7.5 miles in here. Good thing is all we have to just drop over this ridge right here, and on the back side, that cow trail I was talking about. So it'll be it'll be a lot easier walking than trying to go down one of these drainages or stay on the ridge and just bushwhack it. So that's really cool that that's there, especially this far in. You know, the work isn't necessarily the hunt itself. The work actually starts once the animal's on the ground. That's when the real work starts. So, well, we're gonna get this thing broke down and get it in game bags. So probably take a couple hours, and then it was on that rock knob right there. Like I said, 233 yards. You know, people can say what they want, but in my opinion, ain't nothing better than a sunset like that with a view and a load of meat on your back. That is honestly what I live life for. Makes everything complete to me. Alright, well, we're back at the truck, headed home. Couple hour drive home. And we have all the meat off the mountain, all the gear off the mountain. Pack out ended up being 10.5 miles. As what Onyx says is it was tracking me. It seems odd because yesterday said 6 miles in there, so I don't know how the GPS and all that is. Doesn't seem to, the math doesn't seem to add up on it, but that's what Onyx said, so that's what I'll go with. It's 10.5 miles round trip. It's mostly all elevation loss. Didn't get much video of the pack out itself just because it's a lot of hiking and it's not really exciting. But I did want to show or talk about at least the pack out, just because I don't feel like in a lot of hunting videos they bring that up. And I mean, they bring up that there's a pack out involved, but they don't really ever talk about what it actually consists of. I think there are people out there that are under this misnomer that it's like just load it up with your kit, your gear, and head off the mountain. Logistically, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I try to have a plan before I ever shoot an animal, so and I always plan on when I have to pack it out myself. I do have friends and other avenues that could help me come pack out if I needed it, but other people have obligations and lives as well, so I don't ever count on it. It's definitely appreciated when they do, but I just count on it's going to be me and this is what I have to do. So it's also, for me, it's also a part of the hunt. It's a fun part of the hunt. It's a challenging part of the hunt. It's probably the most challenging part of the hunt. But that's what hunting big country in the West is all about to me. So, but yeah. So like I said, I just wanted to show it, talk about it at least. And if you live in other areas of the country and you are planning a hunt out here, like a DIY hunt or something, it's just something to take into account. And if you have any questions about it, you can always message me on Instagram, and I will absolutely answer all the questions that I can. Apex Wild. So,
one mule deer hunt down, and here elk season starts here in a couple 3 days. So we'll be going home, getting this deer in the freezer, and then getting everything reset, restocked, and ready to go again for elk season. So elk season's my favorite personally, so I can't wait. I'm excited for it. So, and I'll definitely be doing my best to carry you guys along on that hunt as well. Like I said, I'm not very good at this self-filming thing, so starting to get the hang of it. Or I wouldn't say I'm getting the hang of it, but I'm starting to get an idea of how to do it, at least. So, but anyway, stay tuned. We'll be doing an elk hunt next.